There's been a lot of coverage about GDPR, and as a small business owner myself, I can honestly say I'm not exactly sure what it means. But it's something that we should definitely be aware of, and that's exactly what we're talking with our coastal expert today. And joining me now is Chuck Brown from Infinity Inc., and of course he's the CEO here. It's great to see you, Chuck.
Good to see you, Nettie.
So GDPR, what is it? I mean, I've seen a lot of coverage about GDPR. Break it down for me and our viewers.
GDPR is a General Data Protection Regulation, and it's a framework that the EU set up to control how customers' data is used.
Now, of course, California has passed its own version called California Consumer Privacy Act. So is the California Act the same thing that we're talking about?
No, the California Act is actually a lot simpler. It basically says that businesses have to tell you what they're doing with your data, and you have a right to some control over that data. The EU regulations are much stricter.
Okay, so one is across the ocean, though, and of course the other is across the country. So why should I care?
Well, for one thing, it will come to the U.S. Consumer data protection is an important thing, and we look at what the EU's done, and in some cases it seems overbearing and too strict. However, there's a lot of our data that's out there now, and this is a first attempt to try to control how it gets used and give us some control over it.
But it all sounds so ominous. I mean, you know, kind of like, spying, Big Brother type spying or bordering on evil. Almost scary.
The things that your data can be used for are kind of scary. With so much connectivity of data, you put in your credit card information, you put in your phone number on a website somewhere, and they share that with one of their vendors, and they share that with one of your vendors. You don't really know where your data is and how it's being used, and that's what these regulations are trying to help you control.
So let's talk about that a little further. I mean, what kinds of data are we talking about where a business is concerned?
Well, on the simplest level, they have your name, phone number, address. They may have your credit card information. They may have your social security number. And they have a lot of seemingly innocuous data. So if you go online, you may put in simple preferences like what kind of a car you have, what color your hair is, where you go to church. All these types of data can be used to help them customize the experience you have, but they can also be used against you. I mean, if companies that you didn't intend on having it have it, think if one company contained every piece of information that you'd ever put on any website anywhere, how much they could put together about you as an individual.
Okay, so as a small business owner myself, and for viewers out there watching who are business owners, how do we figure out what they have?
Well, you have to conduct some type of an audit. You should know what you're collecting, you should know what you have collected in the past, what you're doing with that, what type of protections you give on that.
Okay, so now here's the big question, because I mean, you are our experts here on WSAV, and you provide us with so much information and keep us all secure and safe with technology. And I love the fact that you do such a wonderful job educating not only me, but our viewers. So how can Infinity Inc. help? I mean, a lot of viewers watching right now, especially business owners. How can Infinity Inc. help where this is concerned?
Well, it starts with a conversation where we talk about the types of applications that you have, the type of customers that you have, what information you collect from those customers. It may be that you're not a really high-tech company and you really don't collect much at all. Maybe you have nothing but names and addresses. Or it may be that you have a large online presence and you're collecting a lot of information. So you start by assembling that information, doing an audit, listing out your applications, trying to figure out exactly what data lives where so that you can understand what your risks are.
So general data protection regulation, that's exactly what we're talking about. And I think for a lot of viewers, I mean, we all have specialties, and just because, something may be overwhelming to you, may be a little confused about the terminology, that's exactly why you want to deal with an expert like Infinity Inc. if you are a business owner. And you shouldn't feel bad if you are confused, because that's where you guys come in.
Sure, and one thing to understand, we're talking about a standard that exists in the EU, in the European Union right now. It doesn't apply to you unless you have customers in the EU or data for customers that are in the EU. That doesn't mean you shouldn't pay attention to it. Some of the things that are being implemented are good business. I mean, it's good business to understand what customer data that you have. It's good business to understand how you're protecting that data, because if a consumer should come to you and ask, what do you have of mine? I don't want it there anymore. You should be able to answer them. And that's where we can come in and helping you understand what you have, what you're doing with it, and what the liabilities that you face for that data are.
And that's exactly why you guys are our coastal experts. Thanks so much, Chuck, for joining us. It's always great to see you.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information on Infinity Inc. or any of our coastal experts, just check out our Coastal Experts page. You'll find that at WSAV.com.